The waves hit the shore with a hollow, rhythmic sound, like a giant heartbeat echoing through the island. When Dmytro came to, his head was throbbing, his clothes soaked with salt water. Around him, bodies were scattered across the sand, 20 strangers, all waking up in confusion. Above them, the sun burned mercilessly, but there was something even harsher. Silence. No birds, no insects, only the mechanical hum of a hovering drone high above. Its red lens blinked, scanning them one by one. A metallic voice broke the stillness. "Welcome, participants. You have been chosen for the human test. Survive, and remain human." No further explanation followed. The drone vanished into the sky, leaving only a strange mark burned into the sand, a logo shaped like an eye with numbers spinning inside it. The group slowly gathered. They were from everywhere: America, Japan, Nigeria, Brazil, Germany, Ukraine. None remembered agreeing to any experiment. Panic set in quickly. A tall man in military pants shouted, "Is this some kind of TV show?" No one answered. Dmytro, quiet and observant, looked toward the tree line. There were cameras hidden among the palms, tiny red dots blinking. "We're being watched," he said softly. An Asian woman nodded nervously. "Maybe they'll send a boat. Maybe this is just the start." But when they searched the island, they found only 5 supply crates, marked with the same I logo. Inside each, 2 bottles of water, a knife, a flare, and a note: "Use wisely. You are being evaluated." By nightfall, tension grew. The first argument erupted over water. Then came the realization: the crates were designed for only half of them. As darkness fell, the forest came alive with strange mechanical clicks, motion sensors, drones scanning, cameras zooming. Someone whispered, "It's a game." Another replied, trembling, "No, it's a test of who we really are." Dmytro sat apart, staring at the waves. In his pocket, he found a small metallic badge he didn't remember having. On it was a number, 19. When he flipped it, he noticed a line engraved on the back: "Compassion is not weakness." That night, screams echoed from the northern side of the island. When the group arrived, they found one participant lying motionless, a thin dart lodged in his neck. The mechanical voice returned, calm and cold: "Rule number 1 has been broken." Elimination initiated. Everyone froze. The cameras turned toward them again, blinking. The meaning was clear. This island punished those who forgot what it meant to be human. Dmytro clenched his fists. He didn't know who was behind this, or why, but one thing was certain: if he was going to survive, it wouldn't be by killing others. It would be by holding onto the only thing this place wanted to destroy: his humanity. Darkness came fast. Within minutes, the sunset bled into black, swallowing the beach and the jungle alike. The island turned silent again, except for the low hum of unseen machinery somewhere beyond the trees. The survivors built a fire. Its orange glow cast trembling shadows on their faces. Strangers forced into the same nightmare. Dmytro sat close enough to feel the heat, but far enough to watch everyone. He'd been a mechanic before he left Ukraine, a man used to solving problems with his hands. But this problem wasn't metal or wire, it was fear. "We can't sleep," said Maria, a nurse from Spain. "There's something in those woods." "Maybe drones," muttered Jamal, an engineer from Kenya. Or worse. They all turned toward the trees. Every few seconds, tiny red flashes flickered, eyes of machines, scanning, watching, recording. Then came the voice again, smooth and emotionless, from nowhere and everywhere at once. "Teamwork increases survival probability. Violence decreases it." "Teamwork," barked the man in military pants. "Marcus, an ex-soldier from the U.S., you kill one of us and then tell us to work together." He hurled a rock into the darkness. It landed with a hollow metallic clang. Something moved in the trees, a shifting of leaves, too steady to be wind. Everyone froze. Dmytro stood slowly. "Stay by the fire," he said, his accent thick but calm. He took the flare from one of the crates and lit it. The red light painted the jungle in crimson tones. A drone drifted out from the branches, black, silent, with a blinking lens like a pupil that never blinked. It hovered just above the ground, projecting a holographic image into the air. A line of text glowed before them. Cooperate, compete, choose. Then it released a burst of static and vanished into the night. No one spoke for a long time. The message echoed louder in their minds than the voice itself. By midnight, the group began splitting. Some wanted to stay near the shore. Others believed the island's center might hold better supplies. Marcus and four others left without a word. Dmytro stayed. Running won't help, he said. They want us to move. To panic. Maria looked at him. Then what do we do? He stared into the fire. We wait. And we think. A moment later, a blood-curdling scream tore through the forest. Marcus's voice, brief, desperate, cut short by a mechanical hiss. Then silence. Everyone rushed toward the sound. They found Marcus's group near a ridge, their torches scattered. One of them convulsing on the ground, a dart lodged in his neck. Identical to the one from earlier, the firelight revealed metal traps along the path, precise and deliberate. Not nature's doing. A small camera swiveled toward them, as if satisfied. Maria fell to her knees. They're killing us one by one. Dmytro crouched by the body and found a small metal disc half buried in the soil. It wasn't random. It was a sensor, pulsing faintly with blue light. He covered it with sand. They want to see how we react. Who runs? Who fights? Who helps? Back at camp, nobody spoke. The fire had burned down to glowing embers. One of the participants, a quiet woman named Hannah from Japan, finally whispered, "Do you think they'll stop if we ... If we prove we can cooperate?" Dmytro looked at the horizon where the moonlight touched the Black Sea. "I don't think they want cooperation," he said softly. "They want to see what we'll sacrifice to stay human." Then, from the jungle, came a low metallic click. A new drone emerged, this one carrying a crate wrapped in steel mesh. It dropped it near the fire and flew away. On the lid, glowing words appeared. Next phase. Resource allocation. No one dared to open it. They just stared, knowing that by dawn, the island would ask for another choice, one that could either save them all, or destroy what was left of their humanity. Dawn broke over the island like a blade of light cutting through smoke. The fire had burned to ashes, and the sea was flat, metallic, lifeless. The crate dropped during the night still sat untouched, glinting faintly in the sunrise. Nobody moved. They all knew it wasn't just a box. It was a trap. Finally, Dmytro stepped forward. He looked at the others. 15 left now, their faces hollow, sleepless. If we don't open it, they'll make us. They want a reaction. He knelt beside the crate, studying the lock. It wasn't mechanical. It was a digital sensor. Fingerprint recognition. A small screen above it blinked with a message. Only one can access. The choice defines you. Everyone froze. Maria whispered, "It wants us to fight over it. Then we don't," Dmytro said quietly. "We choose someone. Together." But before he could say more, one of the younger men, a wiry, desperate French student named Leo, lunged forward. "I'll do it. I can pick locks." A loud click. The sensor flashed red. Then a metallic hiss. Leo's scream tore through the air as gas burst from the sides of the crate. He staggered back, choking, clawing at his throat. Maria tried to reach him, but it was too late. Within seconds, his body went limp. Eyes wide open, the screen changed. Impatience equals failure. Cooperation equals reward. Dmytro turned away, jaw tight. The others looked at him, frightened, helpless, waiting for direction. He wiped sand from the control panel and spoke, steady but tense. "We open it together." He pressed his hand to the sensor. Nothing. Then Maria's, then Hannah's, then one by one, until all 15 placed their palms on the lid. The screen blinked green. A soft chime echoed. The lid opened. Inside, packets of food, several bottles of clean water, and a single folded note. Dmytro unfolded it slowly. "Trust is earned, not given. Break it. And only one eats next time." For the first time since the experiment began, they ate. No one spoke. The food tasted like sand, but it kept them alive. Afterward, they buried Leo near the tree line. Dmytro said a few words in Ukrainian, quiet and sincere. Maria placed a stone on the grave. If they're watching, she said, let them see this. Dmytro nodded. Let them see that we still remember what it means to care. But as night fell again, things changed. Jamal and to others whispered near the edge of the camp. If there's another crate tomorrow, we take it first, Jamal said. Dmytro's playing hero. That'll get us all killed. They didn't notice Hannah listening in the shadows. Later that night, when everyone slept, she woke Dmytro. They're planning something, she whispered. They think you're too kind. He smiled faintly. Kindness scares people here. They think it's weakness. Then why do you keep doing it? He looked into the darkness. Because that's what they want us to forget. Just before dawn, another drone descended. Silent as a ghost. It carried two objects this time, a small medical kit and a gun with a single bullet. The message blinked across its side. New parameter. Protection versus power. The group gathered. Silent, their faces lit by the cold light of the drone. No one reached for the gun. Until Jamal did. Someone has to hold it, he said. For safety. Dmytro stared at him. Safety from what? Or who? The others watched, breaths held. It was the first time real distrust rippled through them, and the cameras above recorded every heartbeat. That night, the fire burned brighter than before, but it wasn't warmth anymore. It was warning, because now, for the first time, they weren't afraid of the island. They were afraid of each other. By the fourth sunrise, the island no longer felt like a place. It felt like a cage. The trees leaned inward, as if listening. The air was heavy, almost electric. And above, the drones never slept. The gun lay in the sand between Jamal and Dmytro. Nobody dared to touch it now. It had become a symbol of fear, of control, of everything that divided them. We need rules, Maria said, her voice cracking. If we keep fighting, we'll end up like Leo. There are no rules here, Jamal snapped. Just survival. That's the only law. Then we're no better than them, Dmytro replied quietly. The group stood in a loose circle, eyes flicking from one face to another. 15 had become 13. 2 had vanished during the night, gone without a sound. No blood, no struggle. Only their badges remained, neatly placed by the fire. Everyone knew what that meant. The island had taken them. At noon, a siren echoed from the forest, a sound too precise to be natural. Dmytro led a small group toward it, pushing through the vines until they found a clearing. In the center stood a steel monolith, its surface smooth and black. On its side, red letters glowed. Resource Zona. Limited access. Group entry required. Dmytro placed his palm against it. The screen flickered to life, showing their faces, one by one. Then a message appeared. 2 groups maximum. Cooperation denied beyond this point. Maria read it aloud. It wants us to split. That's exactly what it wants, Dmytro said. But Jamal was already moving. You heard it. We'll take our chances. You do what you want. 5 people followed him, fear in their eyes, but also hope. The hope that maybe the other side of the island was safer. Maria reached for Dmytro's arm. Let them go, he nodded, though his jaw tightened. They'll see soon enough. The test isn't about the island. It's about what we do to each other. That night, the sound of distant shouting drifted through the trees, then gunfire. 1 shot, then silence. The remaining group stared into the darkness, afraid to ask who had fired it. Dmytro stood slowly, grabbing a stick from the fire. We go at first light, he said. If they're still alive, we bring them back. Maria looked at him, exhausted. Why? They turned their backs on us. Because if we stop caring, Dmytro said, we've already lost. The next morning, they moved toward the other side of the island. The trail was littered with broken branches and footprints, too many for 6 people. Then they found it, the second camp, torn apart. One of Jamal's men lay dead beside the remains of a drone, its propellers twisted. His eyes were open, fixed on the sky. A single dart was buried in his chest. Maria covered her mouth. They're hunting us. Dmytro crouched beside the body. No, he murmured. They're studying us. He pointed to the trees. Hidden among the leaves, a dozen small lenses gleamed like eyes. The island was watching every choice, every hesitation, Every flicker of mercy. As they searched the ruins, the sound of footsteps came from behind. Jamal stumbled out from the forest, dirty, bleeding, terrified. They took them, he gasped. They came out of the ground, machines. They dragged them away. I tried to stop them. Dmytro grabbed his shoulders. How many? All of them. I'm the only one left. Before anyone could answer, a voice echoed through the clearing. Stage 4 initiated. Remaining participants, 12. Observation continues. The ground trembled slightly beneath their feet. Somewhere deep underground, gears shifted. The island itself was moving. Dmytro looked toward the horizon, where the ocean met the sky. He finally understood. There was no escape, no rescue. The island wasn't just a place. It was a machine, alive and evolving. And if they didn't hold onto each other, it would devour them one by one. That night, the group returned to their camp in silence. No one spoke. No one slept. The firelight flickered across Dmytro's face. Calm, determined, haunted. He knew something the others didn't. This test would end only when someone proved that humanity was stronger than fear. And if no one else could, he would. The entrance lay hidden beneath a carpet of moss and tangled vines. When Sarah brushed them aside, a gust of stale air escaped, warm, mechanical, almost like a sigh. The group exchanged wary looks. It's breathing, muttered Daniel, his voice cracking. The narrow tunnel led down a spiraling staircase of rusted metal. The deeper they went, the more the air vibrated, a low hum that resonated in their chests. The walls glowed faintly, alive with shifting blue lines, like veins under skin. At the bottom, they stepped into a cavern unlike anything they'd seen before. It was massive, part natural rock, part smooth steel. In the center stood a machine, a colossal structure with thousands of cables and pulsing cores, half submerged in water. It looked ancient and futuristic at the same time. What is this? Whispered Emma. No one answered. The machine responded for them, a slow rhythm pulsing through the floor. Then, on the wall, letters began to form in glowing script. You're not alone. The lights around the chamber flickered, sensing with their heartbeats. Sarah felt the pulse quicken when she looked at Daniel, and the lights brightened, almost blindingly. It's reacting. To us, said Michael, eyes wide. To what we feel. A sudden thought gripped Sarah's mind. If it reacts to emotions, what happens when we're afraid? The answer came instantly. The hum deepened into a growl. The walls trembled. Ripples ran through the water surrounding the machine. Everyone, calm down, shouted Dr. Hayes, but his own fear was feeding it, making it worse. The machine began to rise. Plates of metal unfolded, revealing something inside, a glowing orb, beating like a heart. It projected flashes of the island above, trees bending, waves crashing, the sky twisting into spirals. It's not a machine, whispered Emma. It's the island, the cavern filled with a blinding white light. For a split second, they saw figures, shadows of people, moving inside the core, familiar faces, the ones who had died before them. Then everything went silent. The lights dimmed. The machine stopped, but one final message burned into the wall, fading slowly as they stared. The experiment is not over. Dawn never truly arrived that day. A thick, unnatural fog clung to the island, turning trees into shadowy silhouettes. The survivors awoke not to birdsong, but to a low, vibrating hum resonating through the soil beneath their feet. Dmytro felt it first, a prickling sensation crawling across his skin. It wasn't just sound, it was thought, almost memory, echoing in his mind. They know what we feel. He looked around. Maria clutched her head, eyes wide. I saw them, she whispered. The ones who died. They were standing behind me, watching. Hannah's voice trembled. I saw Leo, smiling at me. The fog shifted, revealing fleeting glimpses of shadows at the edge of their vision. Every blink made them vanish. Every heartbeat made them return. Dmytro clenched his fists. Focus. Don't let it control you. They want fear. They want doubt. Jamal, still bitter from the last encounter, scoffed. Control me. I'm done trying to play nice. The island's dead. This is all a trap, and we're the prey. Before anyone could respond, a low mechanical click echoed from the fog. From the shadows emerged figures, participants who had split earlier in the game. But something was wrong. Their movements were stiff, jerky, unnatural. Dmytro's stomach twisted. "They're puppets," he murmured. "The island is using them." The puppets advanced. The survivors scattered, sprinting across the dense foliage. Branches whipped their faces, roots tangled their feet, and every step felt like the island itself resisted them. Dmytro stopped near a stream, catching his breath. The water reflected not their faces, but distorted versions, grins to wide, eyes to dark. The island was reading them, twisting reality to prey on their fear. Maria fell beside him. "What do? We can't fight shadows, we survive," he said firmly. "And we protect each other. That's the rule. Survive and stay human." A sudden shriek pierced the fog. One of the puppets lunged at Hannah. Dmytro threw himself forward, tackling the figure into the shallow water. A dart bounced off the rocks nearby. The puppets paused, as if calculating, then retreated into the mist, leaving only silence and the ringing of their own hearts. The group huddled together, shivering. The lesson was clear. The island wasn't just a place of physical danger. It was a living test of their minds, morality, and unity. Dmytro stared at the horizon. Somewhere beyond the fog, a drone hovered, recording every panic-stricken move, every glance, every whisper. He whispered to the group, barely audible, "Tomorrow, we don't just survive, we fight to keep who we are." And in the fog, the island pulsed back, as if acknowledging his resolve. The fog clung to the island like a living shroud, twisting the trees into grotesque shapes. Every step the survivors took seemed heavier, as if the ground itself resisted them. Dmytro led the group cautiously through the dense undergrowth, eyes scanning constantly. They had learned the hard way. The island observed, reacted, punished. Every misstep was dangerous. Then came the whisper of movement behind them. Jamal emerged from the mist, but not alone. Two others trailed him, their expressions hidden beneath grim determination. "I'm taking control," Jamal declared, voice sharp. "We can't just follow your moral compass. We need strength, decisiveness." Dmytro's jaw tightened. "You think violence will save us? The island already punishes greed and cruelty. We survive and stay human. Remember." Jamal's laugh was hollow. "Humanity, that's a luxury. Out here, only power matters." Before anyone could react, he lunged, grabbing a crate of food. Two others flanked Dmytro's group. The tension snapped like a frayed rope. The first real fight of the day. Branches broke under the chaos. Rocks flew. Screams echoed across the fog-laden island. Dmytro shielded Maria as Jamal swung a branch at her. Hannah ducked, barely avoiding a dart fired from the shadows. The island itself had joined the fight. Amid the struggle, Dmytro noticed something chilling. The other participants' faces were changing. Fear twisted them, made them reckless. The island amplified every emotion, turning allies into threats. He lunged at Jamal, tackling him into the mud. They grappled, struggling for control. Around them, the fog thickened, shimmering with mechanical light. The island was alive, feeding off the betrayal, the rage, the panic. "Why are you doing this?" Dmytro shouted, holding Jamal down. "We don't have to become monsters. Monsters survive." Jamal snarled. "Weakness dies." Dmytro's mind raced. He couldn't kill him. That would mean losing the very thing the island wanted to destroy, his humanity. He remembered the rule etched in his badge. Compassion is not weakness. A dart whistled past, narrowly missing his shoulder. One of Jamal's allies screamed as the poison needle struck him in the leg. The island had chosen, one had to fall. Dmytro seized the moment, pulling Jamal and the remaining allies apart. "Leave now," he barked, "or the next one dies." Jamal hesitated, panic flickering in his eyes. He glanced at the darted man, whose body twitched violently. Then he ran into the fog with his remaining companion, leaving the other shaken but alive. The island pulsed, as if satisfied. But Dmytro knew the truth. The betrayal was only the beginning. Every choice, every act of fear or aggression, fed it, and it would demand more tests. That night, the group huddled close around a fire that refused to burn warmly. Silence reigned. Every heartbeat echoed like a drum. Dmytro stared at the horizon, whispering to himself, if we survive this, it will only be by keeping our humanity intact, by saving each other, even when it's impossible. Somewhere in the mist, unseen cameras recorded everything, the struggle, the fear, the acts of mercy. The island was alive, and it was learning. And tomorrow, it would demand even more. The island had grown darker, denser, as if it sensed the approaching end. Only 5 remained: Dmytro, Maria, Hannah, Jamal, and one silent participant from Germany, Klaus. The rest had fallen, either to the island's darts or to panic-fueled mistakes. The ground trembled as they approached a wide clearing. In its center, a massive steel platform emerged from the earth, cables snaking into the fog above. Lights pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. A familiar metallic voice echoed. Final trial initiated. Only one may emerge unbroken. Only one may remain human. Fear gripped everyone, but Dmytro's resolve hardened. He glanced at Maria and Hannah. No matter what happens, we survive and stay human. That's the rule, Jamal sneered. You'll die trying to protect everyone. This is survival, Dmytro. Only one can live. A crate descended from the cables above. Inside, a vest with wires, blinking red. Dmytro recognized it immediately. An explosive device. The island demanded a choice. Dmytro felt the weight of it like a stone pressing on his chest. Maria gasped. We have to. We can't. But Dmytro shook his head. If I wear this, if I move away from the others, one of us survives. That's the only way to save someone else. Jamal's eyes gleamed. He lunged for the vest. I'll take it. I'll survive. Dmytro grabbed him, shoving him back. No, this isn't about winning. This is about staying human. The island pulsed violently. Sparks flew along the cables. The air vibrated with a low hum. The final test had begun. Dmytro placed the vest on his chest. Hannah and Maria tried to stop him, but he held them back. Listen, he said firmly. If I don't do this, one of you dies anyway. The island will decide. This way, I choose to protect. He stepped forward, heart pounding. Jamal lunged again, but a dart shot from the cables hit him in the neck. He fell, convulsing. His greed had been punished. The island paused, almost curiously. Dmytro walked slowly, breathing steadily, feeling the weight of the vest and the knowledge of its purpose. But he refused to give in to fear. Maria and Hannah followed at a distance, terrified but unharmed. The vest's blinking lights slowed as Dmytro moved far from the others. He embraced the fear, the anticipation of death, and smiled faintly. Then, nothing. No explosion, no fire. Only the island's hum softened. Almost approvingly, Dmytro sank to the ground, breathing hard. The vest remained intact, harmless. He had passed the final test. Hannah and Maria ran to him, tears streaming. He smiled weakly. We survived, and stayed human. The island pulsed once more, lights fading into the fog. Somewhere, hidden cameras blinked. The experiment was over, and only one truth remained. The real victory was not survival, but humanity itself. Dmytro, the Ukrainian, had chosen compassion over selfishness, mercy over violence. The island had tested him, and he had endured. The fog had lifted slightly, revealing the island's jagged cliffs and dark, restless waves below. Dmytro, Maria, and Hannah moved cautiously, the weight of the previous trial pressing on them. Every step felt amplified, every sound magnified. The island had grown quieter, but they all knew it was only a trap waiting to strike. We need to reach the shore, Dmytro whispered. There might be a boat or something. Any way out? Hannah nodded, scanning the terrain. But the island, it's watching us. I can feel it. Dmytro didn't respond. He had learned not to underestimate it. Every previous misstep, every dart, every scare, it had been anticipating them, learning from their choices. They reached the cliff edge and looked down. The waves crashed against jagged rocks, white foam spitting into the air. Somewhere in the distance, a faint outline of a vessel bobbed, like a promise or a trick. Maria shivered. Do we jump? Dmytro shook his head. We go carefully. We can't let fear guide us now. As they moved along a narrow ledge, the hum returned, low, mechanical, insidious. Then, from the shadows, a single dart shot toward Hannah. Dmytro reacted instinctively, shoving her aside. The dart embedded itself into a rock, quivering. "Stay close," he said, voice tense but steady. "The island won't stop now." A metallic rumble came from the cliffs behind them. The ground shifted slightly, the island adjusting, testing, threatening. A large section of rock collapsed, sending debris crashing into the sea below. Hannah gasped. "It's alive. It's more than alive," Dmytro said. "It's sentient. It reacts to fear, to aggression, and it learns from mercy." They continued, moving like shadows across the jagged cliffs. The faint outline of a boat became clearer. Relief surged, but Dmytro's instincts warned him. The trial wasn't over. Suddenly, a dart pierced the air, striking Maria in the shoulder. She stumbled, screaming. Dmytro grabbed her, pulling her to safety behind a boulder. Hannah's eyes were wide with panic. "We can't outrun it forever." Dmytro clenched his fists. Then he remembered the rule etched in his mind: survive and remain human. He looked at the vest from the previous trial, still hidden under his shirt. A plan formed. If he drew the island's attention and moved away, he could give Maria or Hannah a chance to reach the boat. He whispered, "Go. Swim to the boat. I'll distract it." Hannah hesitated, tears streaming. "No, we stay together." "No," Dmytro shouted. "I'll handle this. You live, that's the goal." As the women sprinted toward the shoreline, Dmytro ran into the open. The island's hum escalated, a crescendo of mechanical rage and anticipation. Darts whizzed past him, the rocks trembled, and the wind tore at his clothes. Then, silence. The island paused, almost curiously. Dmytro stood tall, heart racing, vest strapped tight. But he didn't panic. Fear had no power over him anymore. From the shadows, a dart silently struck another participant, Jamal's last ally. He collapsed instantly, a cruel reminder of the island's unyielding test. Dmytro smiled faintly through sweat and grime. Humanity had won. Mercy had survived. The waves lapped at the shore. Hannah and Maria reached the boat, gasping, exhausted but alive. Dmytro watched them go, knowing he had fulfilled the ultimate test. And as the island pulsed one final time, he whispered to the fog, "I chose humanity." That was the victory. The island was silent now, almost serene. The fog had lifted, revealing jagged cliffs, shattered trees, and remnants of trials that had pushed each participant to their limits. Dmytro stood at the cliff's edge, vest strapped tightly, watching the small boat carrying Hannah and Maria bob across the waves. He could have joined them, escaped, survived. But the choice had already been made. To remain human, he could not sacrifice morality for safety. The vest's lights blinked softly, a reminder of the island's final test. Dmytro took a deep breath, the wind ripping across his face, carrying salt and the faint scent of burned foliage from the trials below. He had faced every fear, every betrayal, and every moral dilemma, and he had remained compassionate, selfless, and human. A metallic hum rose from the cliffs. The island was observing, learning, evaluating one last time. From the shadows, a dart whistled past, aimed at Dmytro. He did not flinch. It lodged harmlessly into the ground, the mechanism neutralized by the island itself. Hannah's voice came from the boat, calling out, "Dmytro, come on." He shook his head, a small smile playing on his lips. "I can't, but I've given you a chance." The boat drifted farther from the shore. Behind him, Jamal's last ally had already fallen victim to the island, a silent testament to what greed and selfishness cost. The vest remained, a symbol of choice rather than punishment. Dmytro had embraced the fear of death, knowing that by doing so he preserved the lives and morality of others. Humanity had triumphed not through strength or cunning, but through courage, mercy, and selflessness. He turned one last time to the island. The trees swayed, the cliffs pulsed, the wind whispered through the rocks, as if acknowledging him, a survivor not just of the trials, but of the corruption the island sought to expose. The boat reached the horizon, carrying Hannah and Maria safely away. Dmytro stayed, solitary, a living reminder of the principle he had upheld. To survive is one thing, to remain human is another, and in that silence, the island ceased its trials. The cameras blinked off, the hum faded. Dmytro sank to his knees, exhausted, blooded, but unbroken. A sense of peace washed over him. He had lost friends, faced betrayal, and stared death in the face. Yet he had not surrendered to the darkness. Somewhere in the vast ocean, the first rays of dawn pierced the horizon. Hannah and Maria waved, tears streaming, and for a fleeting moment, Dmytro smiled, the embodiment of hope, compassion, and humanity prevailing even in the face of the cruelest tests. The island remained, still and silent, holding its secrets. But one truth was undeniable. The ultimate victor was not the strongest, nor the cleverest, but the one who remained human. And that victor was Dmytro, a Ukrainian who had proven that courage and mercy could endure even in a world designed to destroy both. The sun rose higher, casting light over the cliffs and waves. The trials were over, the lessons carved into memory, and the story of survival, tempered by humanity, had found its conclusion.